Hello and welcome to the news live on Sansad TV at 9 p.m. with me, Bhawna Nayar. Hope you had a safe and wonderful Diwali. In the next half an hour, we bring you top stories from across the world and a lowdown on UK's new Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, the first British Prime Minister of Indian descent and the third Prime Minister in just last 45 days. And world's witnessed year's last solar eclipse from Iceland to India. There'll be much more. Let's get started with the top 5 headlines this Tuesday evening. Rishi Sunak becomes the first British Prime Minister of Indian origin, pledges to bring economy back on track. Prime Minister Modi and world leaders congratulate UK's new Premier. Filing of nominations ends for Himachal Pradesh Assembly elections, scrutiny on 27th October, voting to take place on 12th November. Cyclonic storm Sitrang weakens in Bay of Bengal, causes heavy rain in West Bengal and northeast. At least 15 people killed in Bangladesh. Amidst Russia-Ukraine war, German President reaches Kiev with message of solidarity. Germany and European Union start work on new Marshall Plan to rebuild Ukraine. And last solar eclipse of the year in India appears in most parts of the country except some parts of the northeast. And some more important news at a glance. India committed to purposes and principles of United Nations. Jaishankar stresses that India will stand with the global south. Kerala High Court allows vice chancellors of 9 universities to continue in office till governor takes a final decision on the issue. Bharat Jodo Yatra now moving towards central and northern India, says Jairam Ramesh, hopes it will instill enthusiasm for party in these states. Indian High Commissioner meets Kenyan President Ruto in connection with killings of 2 Indian executives, seeks speedier probe. Farmer leader Rakesh Tikait threatens movement if Nitish Kumar does not restore Mandi system for grain sale. Biden administration appoints Elizabeth Jones as charge d'affaires at US Embassy in New Delhi. Shooting at a high school in St. Louis, Missouri, USA. At least 3 people, including the suspect, killed, 7 others injured. Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen responds to CPC General Assembly's calling Taiwan a part of China, asserts that her country will not succumb to aggressive threats. Facing 2 sexual assault cases, writer Sivik Chandran surrendered to police a week after Kerala High Court cancelled his anticipatory bail. And Indian juniors bounce back to defeat Japan 5-1 in Sultan of Johor Cup hockey tournament. India to take on Australia in their 4th game. And now the top story of the day. 42-year-old Rishi Sunak was sworn in as UK's first Indian origin British Prime Minister on Tuesday. Delivering his first speech as Prime Minister from outside Downing Street, Sunak said he is determined to fix the mistakes made by his predecessor, Liz Truss. The next report tells you the promises made by new Prime Minister in his maiden speech.
Rishi Sunak has become British Prime Minister after being asked to form a government by King Charles III. Speaking outside the Prime Minister's residence, Sunak said he would confront the profound economic crisis with compassion and lead a government of integrity, professionalism and accountability.
Good morning. I've just been to Buckingham Palace and accepted His Majesty the King's invitation to form a government in his name. It is only right to explain why I am standing here as your new Prime Minister. Right now, our country is facing a profound economic crisis. The aftermath of COVID still lingers. Putin's war in Ukraine has destabilized energy markets and supply chains the world over.
Sunak met at Buckingham Palace with the King, who accepted the resignation of Liz Truss. The new Prime Minister of Britain said that mistakes were made by his predecessor and has promised to place economic stability and confidence at the heart of his agenda.
I want to pay tribute to my predecessor, Liz Truss. She was not wrong to want to improve growth in this country. It is a noble aim. And I admired her restlessness to create change. But some mistakes were made. Not born of ill will or bad intentions. Quite the opposite, in fact. But mistakes nonetheless.
Earlier, Truss delivered her last speech as British Prime Minister Tuesday morning as she left 10 Downing Street. Truss, who quit last week after 45 days in office, said she is more convinced than ever that the UK needs bold policy change. Truss wished incoming Prime Minister Rishi Sunak success as Britain continues to battle through a storm. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
All right, many Indians expressed pride and joy at Rishi Sunak's becoming the first person of Indian origin to become the British Prime Minister. The news was made all the more special coming as it was on the day of Diwali. Many even noted that Sunak's elevation is taking place in the year when India celebrated 75 years of its independence from British colonial rule. More details in this report.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated Indian origin British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, saying in a tweet that he looks forward to working closely with Sunak on global issues and implementing Roadmap 2030. He extended special Diwali wishes to the living bridge of UK Indians. Many Indians said they are delighted at Rishi Sunak becoming the first person of Indian origin to be the British Prime Minister.
I think it's an exciting thing to the extent that one doesn't have to be a certain color or a class in order to become the Prime Minister of any country. I think we've passed those boundaries. That's a good thing. It's Conservative Party after all, so I hope that their policies are ones that are good for all people, not just for the wealthy.
Sunak's rise to the premiership made it to the front pages of most Indian newspapers, alongside the Indian cricket team's win over arch rivals Pakistan in a T20 World Cup match late on Sunday.
अगर आज किसी भी भारतीय से आप पूछेंगे तो आज वो बहुत गर्व महसूस कर रहा होगा कि हमारे में से कोई एक आज उस देश का प्रधानमंत्री बना है कि जिसने हम पे कम से कम 100 साल से ऊपर राज किया है। और इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं कि आज हर वो भारतीय बहुत गर्व से कह सकता है कि आज यकीन माने कि भाई जो तरक्की उन्होंने की है उसके लिए हम सारे भारतवर्ष उनका स्वागत भी करते हैं और उनको पूरे भारतवर्ष से हम उनको शुभकामनाएं भी देते हैं।
Former British Chancellor of the Exchequer or Finance Minister, Sunak, 42, is a practicing Hindu. His family migrated to Britain in the 1960s, a time of social upheaval and widespread racism. Sunak was born in southern England and rose through some of the country's top educational institutions, Winchester College and Oxford University, before rising higher still through a career in finance. He is married to the daughter of Infosys founder Narayan Murthy. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
So Indians delighted in Sunak's elevation. The last solar eclipse of the year, a partial eclipse of the sun, was visible in several parts of India on Tuesday. Srinagar saw a maximum eclipse of 55%. In Delhi, the partial eclipse started at 4:29 p.m. Enthusiastic stargazers saw the moon covering the sun on the new moon day when the earth, moon and the sun come in a straight line. Thousands of devotees took a holy bath in the Ganga in Haridwar. Kurukshetra witnessed the eclipse in between 4:27 p.m. and 5:39 p.m. According to a popular belief, it is auspicious to take a bath in the lakes of Kurukshetra during a solar eclipse. Moving on to another developing story, cyclonic storm Sitrang further weakened into a low pressure area in the Bay of Bengal today. The meteorological department said there is a possibility of heavy rain in Arunachal Pradesh, northeast Assam, Meghalaya and Nagaland. In Bangladesh, cyclone Sitrang has claimed 15 lives. Authorities had to evacuate thousands of people to safe shelters as the storm flooded low-lying areas. Heavy rains lashed Bangladesh for almost the entire day, causing waterlogging in many areas along the coastal areas of southern and southwestern Bangladesh. Winds gusted with a maximum speed of 65 km per hour. The government banned the movement of boats in rivers and seas. The government closed 3 airports and ordered officials to be on alert. And now talking about Himachal Pradesh Assembly elections, filing of nominations for the Assembly elections in Himachal Pradesh was completed on Tuesday. Voting will be held on 12th November for the elections to the 68-member Assembly in the state. The papers will be scrutinized on 27th October. Nominations can be withdrawn till 29th October. Emphasizing the need for right to education and thinking, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar on Tuesday said that India will definitely become a Vishwa Guru again. The Vice President was addressing a program organized on the 85th anniversary of Prajapati Brahma Kumari Sansthan at Abu Road in Sirohi district of Rajasthan. He said, India is the only country that is talking about the welfare of the world. The Vice President said even during the biggest COVID crisis, India did not abandon its cultural values and had served the entire world. He said, India has become the 5th largest economy and there is no doubt it will soon be the 3rd largest economy within the decade.
संविधान निर्माताओं की कल्पना थी कि राज्यसभा अपने आचरण से, अपने कार्यकलापों से, अपनी दूरदृष्टि से देश को एक नई दिशा दे। यहां से मैं शक्ति लेकर जा रहा हूं कि राज्यसभा के हर सदस्य को मैं प्रेरित करूंगा, उनसे अनुशंसा करूंगा कि उनका व्यक्तिगत आचरण, उनका सामूहिक आचरण भारतीय सिद्धांतों को दिखाए और आम जन के लिए अनुकरणीय हो।
Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar also visited the world-famous Dilwara Jain temple where he saw the artifacts. After the Brahma Kumari Sanstha program, the Vice President reached the temple at Srinath Ji in Nathdwar. He prayed for the prosperity of the country at the temple. And now let's take a look at other news from across the nation. Rajya Sabha Chairman Jagdeep Dhankar has approved the extension of the tenure of the Parliamentary Standing Committee that is looking into the Prohibition of Child Marriage Amendment Bill 2021 by 3 months from October 24. India will for the first time export green energy from 2025 with the first shipments going to a Singapore power plant under an MOU signed by an India-based dispatchable renewables company and Singapore's energy business on Tuesday. The MOU says India's Greenco Group and Singapore's Keppel Infrastructure would work towards a 250,000 tons per annum contract to be supplied to Keppel's new 600 megawatt power plant in Singapore. The Supreme Court has sought response from the centre and others on a plea challenging certain provisions of the Registration of Electors Rule 1960 by which the Election Commission is bound to supply 2 copies of the electoral roll to every contesting candidate. The PIL filed by 2 advocates has sought an alternative to save the enormous expenditure as well as the usage of large quantities of paper. With smoke shrouding parts of North India after Diwali, cracker bursting and stubble burning, the air quality index in the national capital fell under the very poor category on Tuesday morning. The national capital regions were among the cities with poor to very poor air quality. However, favorable meteorological conditions prevented rapid accumulation of pollutants and the situation remained relatively better than in previous years. India reported a decrease of 644 inactive coronavirus cases to take its count to 22,549. The country is 48th among the most affected countries globally by active cases. India today added 862 cases and 3 new fatalities, including 2 more reconciled by Kerala. Its COVID-19 death toll reached 5,28,980. And now news from the world of business and economy. Tech giant Google was fined once again by Competition Commission of India. This time Rs 936 crore for what it called Google's questionable Play Store policies. Earlier, Google was charged with abusing its market position and fined Rs 1,337.76 crore. Meta, which operates Facebook, WhatsApp and Instagram platforms, called India its priority market, with most of its new features receiving a massive response by social media users. It said nearly 200 million Indians spend up to 45 minutes per day browsing short videos, a number which is expected to go up further. And now talking about stock markets, benchmark BSE index dropped 287 points to close at 59,543, while NSE Nifty shed 74 points to settle at 17,656 following weak global trends. Amongst tops, Nestle India, Hindustan Unilever, Kotak Mahindra and HDFC were the worst performers, while Maruti and L&T did marginally better. Jewelers across India had a profitable Diwali as gold sales went up to more than 35% this year, with both lightweight and heavy jewelry seeing fast sales. The demand for men's jewelry, including chains and rings, also went up significantly. Demand for bridal jewelry also boomed ahead of the upcoming wedding season. And talking about global markets now, Asian markets traded in the red as Hang Seng, Taiwan Kospi and Shanghai all closed with losses of up to 1.5%. Meanwhile, Nasdaq and European markets fared marginally better with gains of up to 1.5%. Time for a very short break here. Lots more coming up on the other side. You stay tuned to Sansad TV for more news. Welcome back after the break. You're watching the news and time now for all the updates from the Russia-Ukraine war front. German and European Union leaders gathered experts in Berlin on Tuesday to start work on what Germany's Chancellor described as a new Marshall Plan for rebuilding Ukraine. The Marshall Plan was a US-sponsored initiative that helped revive Western European economies after World War II. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said the World Bank puts the cost of damage to Ukraine so far at 350 billion euros. The EU decided in June to make Ukraine a candidate to join the bloc. Ukrainian President Zelensky has laid out a vision of a future Ukraine as a major exporter of green energy to the continent. Germany's president arrived in Kiev on Tuesday for his first visit to Ukraine since the start of Russia's invasion, a trip that comes amid Moscow's unsubstantiated warnings of a dirty bomb attack as the conflict enters its 9th month. The German president, whose position is largely ceremonial, made it to Ukraine on his 3rd try. Ukrainian authorities claimed increasing success in shooting down Russian drones. Ukraine's forces shot down more than 2/3 of the approximately 330 Iranian Shahed drones that Russia has fired through Saturday, the head of Ukraine's intelligence service has said. The White House has repeatedly rejected Russia's talk of a possible dirty bomb attack in Ukraine as the war enters its 9th month. The Russian defense minister claimed that Ukrainian forces were preparing a provocation involving a radioactive device. Britain, France and the United States rejected the claim. A dirty bomb uses explosives to scatter radioactive waste to sow terror. A senior Russian official said on Monday that authorities have taken steps to boost weapons production amid the ongoing military operation in Ukraine. Russia Security Council chief said he visited the country's top tank factory in the Ural mountain city to discuss ways to increase output. A car bomb explosion hit Melitopol, the second largest city of the Zaporizhia region in the southeast Ukraine on Tuesday morning. The blast was triggered by an explosive device planted inside a car parked near a local television station. It was unclear who was responsible for the blast. Both Ukrainian and Russian officials said it appeared to target the leader of the region, Yevgeny Balitsky. And now news from some other parts of the globe. European Union ministers on Tuesday started seeking common ground to soften the blow of the energy crisis. EU governments have agreed to reduce demand for gas by 15% between this past August and March 2023. They are pursuing a plan that focuses on joint gas purchases. The aim is to leverage the EU's collective market wage to gain more favorable prices from foreign suppliers other than Russia. WhatsApp services were restored after a brief outage on Tuesday that left people around the world complaining that they couldn't send or receive messages. People started reporting problems around 3 a.m. About 2 hours later, users started posting online that WhatsApp was back to normal. Meta, previously known as Facebook, bought WhatsApp in 2014. Israeli forces on Tuesday raided a stronghold of an armed group in the occupied West Bank. 6 Palestinians were killed and 20 wounded in the overnight raid in the old city of Nablus. The target of the raid was a group of Palestinian gunmen calling themselves the Lion's Den. The group was responsible for the recent fatal shootings of an Israeli soldier and several attempted attacks. South Korea said North Korea has completed preparations for another nuclear test. South Korea's President Yoon Suk-yeol urged the North to stop its provocative actions after recent barrage of weapons tests. Pro-democracy Hong Kong publisher Jenny Lai was found guilty on Tuesday. The media mogul is one of the most prominent pro-democracy activists to be arrested in Hong Kong's crackdown since mass pro-democracy protests in 2019. And time to see what's happening in the world of sports. Hosts Australia brought their World T20 campaign back on track with a 7-wicket win over Sri Lanka in the 19th match of the tournament played at Perth. Marcus Stoinis played a blitzkrieg 18-ball 59 runs innings to dash Sri Lanka's hopes. Australia's leg spinner Adam Zampa tested COVID-19 positive with minor symptoms ahead of the T20 World Cup clash against Sri Lanka. Real Madrid will be without this year's Ballon d'Or winner Karim Benzema and the 2018 victor Luka Modric for this week's Champions League tie in Leipzig. Coach Carlo Ancelotti has said, "I am not retired. Chances of return are very high," says Serena Williams. Serena has said on August 9 that she is evolving away from the sport, which was interpreted then as her retirement. Qatar has been hit by an unprecedented campaign of criticism over its hosting of the Football World Cup. Its ruler Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani said today, calling the attacks defamation. And that's a wrap of today's Bulletin the News. Stay tuned to Sansad TV for all the latest updates round the clock. Do share your feedback with us on our social media platforms. Thank you for watching. Good night. Namaskar.